Rufus is the one who's now keeping a secret from Lily that Dan knows. What a fucking asshole.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, the newbie, the greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, what do we call the Season 2 newbie?
Enough of this high school nonsense. I'm hosting a selection committee for the Colony Club tonight, Steve.
Well, then you can... Well, then you can go ahead and cast my submission for it, and we'll get on with this podcast.
Sounds good.
So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since it first came out, and I am diving in for the very first time. And together, we are your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
That's right. Each week, we'll be taking a deep dive into the show, one episode at a time. We'll analyze all the parallels, obscure references, and of course, couture catastrophes. Plus, we'll also be touching on all the behind-the-scenes gossip and some stories from fandom.
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your mimosa, a cup of coffee, or maybe some of Nate and Chuck's special medicine. Let's get into it.
Sounds good. So we've had a bit of a break. You went to Hawaii. I got sick with bronchitis for 3 weeks. And so we kind of caught up to our release schedule because this episode will be coming out a week from Monday on November 18th.
We actually need to cut that out about Hawaii because it was a big secret trip. In case his family hears it, his family doesn't know about it. So, I went on vacation, we could say. Did you mind retaking that? Because
we didn't say who you went with.
No, but like, if anyone knows where I went to Hawaii, if they hear it, they know why I went there. Like, he very specifically asked me not to, until he tells his family, he doesn't want me to say anything.
Your friend's family listens to our podcast?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But if they do,
too bad. So we did get some requests for Patreon, so we did set one up, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month. There are several tiers available. You can do some watch parties with us. We're going to watch some cast movies, and you can get shouted out on the podcast. So check it out at patreon.com/nonjudgingbreakfastpod. And we are here to talk about Season 2, Episode 14, In the Realm of the Passes. Original air date was January 5th, 2009. First episode of the new year.
Yeah, 2009. So what was going on around then?
I mean, we're in the heart of the Occupy Wall Street and the recession.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I really don't know who the writers are writing to with these title references. This was based on the movie I Know Kurita, also known as In the Realm of the Senses. But it was a 1976 Japanese/French erotic art film with unsimulated sex scenes in it. And they're expecting teenagers to go watch this?
Yeah, I wonder if they expected the teenagers to know the titles that well, though. Keep in mind that back then, when you're watching it, the actual title episode is something that wasn't really made public unless you're looking online, or if it's not like on Max.
This is the age of TV Guide channel, and it was right on there.
Oh, would they put the episode?
Anyone was a fan, was in fandom, was getting the episode a few weeks ahead of time, and TV Guide magazine would come out like 3 weeks ahead with the episode titles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely a thing.
Okay. And then there's also the question of who is it do you think is titling it? Do you think that each, whoever gets the writing credit, is that the person who's titling it?
No, I think it was a group effort. And I know at least one episode was titled by an intern. They're not an attorney. Josh Safran's assistant.
Okay.
And then, obviously, the strike episode, the thin line between Chuck and Nate, was titled by the crew because
they weren't allowed to. The writers were striking and couldn't name the episode, which I actually love that. And it's actually one of the best titles in reference to the episode itself.
Yeah. So this episode was written by John Stevens, who had previously written The Dark Knight and There Might Be Blood. Both pretty good episodes.
Yeah.
Directed by Tony Warmby. Directed Victor Victrola, so he comes back to the club. School, he must have liked shooting there.
Yeah.
School Lies, Women on the Verge, and Chuck in Real Life.
I remember during Victor Victrola, I actually asked if it was going to be a regular place, and you had to think about it. You weren't quite sure, but I'm really glad now to see it still be a recurring place in the show. And I'm glad he bought it back. Like, I think that's really cool, but we'll get to that.
The Vulture recap. After the long break, Gossip Girl kicks us off with a lot of nice exposition about what everyone did over their not-so-happy holidays. Chuck was in Thailand, sucking on a long red hookah. Serena banged coconuts in Argentina sans Aaron, whom she broke up with on the plane. Apparently, she was as revolted as we were by his stammering, "I think I'm falling in love with you," in the last episode. Dan, meanwhile, pined at home alone because the writers forgot that way back at the beginning of the season, they imbued him with magic pussy powers he could use to forget Serena. Vanessa was with her parents, Man Bangs was MIA, and Cece, it seems, wisely fled the scene after revealing the big secret to Rufus, which was, yes, a baby, a live one, but it appears Rufus and Lily didn't even have the most rudimentary of conversations about the fruit of their coupling. She even kept him waiting 2 weeks to hear the answer to his question. We even know, or think we know, what Blair and creepy Uncle Jack got up to, and it's definitely no good. Although he is kind of sexy in a willfully idiotic, soon-to-be fat former jock kind of way.
Loved the casting of Uncle Jack. Absolutely loved the casting.
Yeah. Has been, I forget what his last name is.
From Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I thought he was
great scumbag.
Fantastic. And just great. Like, it just felt like such a split between Chuck and Bart.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I really thought that really explained so much of Chuck, that he had this uncle that he also looks up to. So, anyway, we'll get to all that.
We move into Act 1. Gossip Girl here, welcoming you to the new year when Manhattanites who flew south for the sun return to their Park Avenue perches, which means I have a lot of catching up to do. Word is Serena Vanderwoodson tangoed in the new year in the plazas of Buenos Aires. Yes, that means Lonely Boy was all alone when the clock told 12. And what of Little J? Rumor is she's trading runways for always. So long, high fashion. Hello, high school. Blair Waldorf has been spotted making inroads to the Colony Club, with high school nearing its end, as Queen Bee found a new social ladder to climb. So the only real question remaining, where in the world is Chuck Pass, and is he ever coming back?
I thought that I liked the montage at the beginning of this. I liked the way that we went from character to character. We saw what everybody was up to. I like that we saw what I like that we got a glimpse of Chuck. You know, we see that he's in this opium den somewhere in Thailand. So we know that Chuck freaked out, which we knew. We knew he was going to go away. I kind of expected not to see him for a couple episodes, so I was really glad that we're going to get right back to the resolution of this.
And we get a little time jump.
Yeah, there's that time jump.
Dan is cyberstalking Serena's trip to Buenos Aires and tells Sujetti to learn something as she leaves the loft for her first day back to school. Then Jenny and Eric are walking together discussing Jenny's return to school. And Blair is looking to find a new secret society to join.
Jesus Christ.
Number 2.
This is This is her second one or the show's second
This show's second one.
Yeah, the show's second one because of the skull and crossbones. Yeah. Is this a real secret society, the Colony Club?
You Google it.
Okay.
Do some live Googling.
I'll do some live Googling.
Eric mentions Uncle Jack is looking for the still missing Chuck. We get a shot of Chuck in what looks like an opium den. And then Dan is looking at Serena's vacation pics when Rufus walks in. Dan lies about what he was doing. Rufus is getting nostalgic and decides to walk Dan to school on the first day of his final semester.
Yeah, Rufus is just a fucking asshole from the start. This is going to be a shit on Rufus episode. I'll warn you now because Rufus is shit.
Nothing new there.
Nothing new there. And just worse. I have so much to say, but I will do it scene by scene.
Blair and Dorota are discussing the Colony Club and Chuck when Blair gets a text from Jack that causes her to belt for the elevator.
I will say that when I Googled the Colony Club, I got a website that says Colony Club, and it said Colony Club New York. And when you go to it, there is a page for guest information, but there is also just a member login and an address, and that is it.
Secret Society.
Secret Society. Ooh. Secret Society. Yep.
Jenny and Eric arrive at school. Jenny is nervous about the Mean Girls, but Nellie surprisingly welcomes Jenny back. Jenny's relief is short-lived as Penelope and Hazel, backed by Iz, give Nellie a hard time for daring to speak to Jenny.
Yeah. The whole Nellie thing. This whole Nellie thing. I'll save for a lot of what I have to say about it for later, but dumb.
We get our first glimpse of Jack as his limo pulls up in front of Blair and Dorota. Jack is forced to carry an inebriated Chuck out of the limo. Blair and Dorota look both distraught over Chuck, but Blair sends Dorota off to prep for her party.
Instant tension between Blair and Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting to see that these characters clearly had history without ever really communicating that. It was really well done. It's one of the few writing pieces in this episode that I think stood out as good. And even then, it's more directing than writing.
Dan and Rufus arrive at school. Dan enters as Rufus takes a call from an adoption clinic, but it's another dead end.
And this is when we first hear that it's adoption. Because last week, you and I talked about my first impression was abortion, which, yes, it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to go away for an extended period of time for that, except in my mind for the fact that this is Lily Vanderwoodson, or Lily, whoever she was at the time. I forget Cece's last name, but who could just go away for a few months to recover from the trauma of having an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my mind went the last time. But now here it's an adoption, and Rufus is now going all over the place. Rufus is going to make sure that he abandons his children to find his child.
Yes. Serena is waiting for Dan at school and tells him that she broke up with Aaron on the plane ride. But now the dust is settled and their parents aren't getting together. She's still down to get down. Serena asks Dan if he's still in, and his response is to lay a big old smoocheroo on the blonde bombshell.
Good fucking bye, Aaron. Goodbye forever, right?
Ceremoniously.
Forever, right? Right? Please. But good fucking bye. Didn't even get an on-screen exit, which
he is Blair's stepbrother now.
Yeah. That tells me that breakup felt more like, oh shit, we're going to resume shooting and the actor isn't available, so we have to cut him, combined with message boards being like, get this fucking guy out of here. Can we just have Dan and Serena back?
Spotted S and Lonely Boy kicking off the new year like it's last year. Who knows? Maybe third time's a charm. Well, let's not break out the bubbly just yet. We move into Act 2. Serena and Blair have a happy reunion in the hallway. Blair ashamedly admits to telling Chuck that she loved him only to have him disappear for a month. It seems like Blair was going to reveal something else when Dan comes up and hugs Serena from behind. This causes Blair to run off to vomit.
A postcard would have been fine.
Lily shows up the gallery to talk to Rufus and finally reveals that their child was a son, but that she doesn't want Rufus to interrupt his life.
So this is where I have a little more to say on the Rufus thing, because he's just so fucking selfish that it is all about, I need this kid. I need to find him. When Lily said he has the right to his own life.
Yeah.
What if this kid doesn't know he's adopted? What if this kid doesn't know? What if you are completely upending this kid's life? Because Lily specifically said, no, I won't have the right to it.
Yeah.
So Rufus is actively looking to possibly derail an entire family just so he can meet a kid who may not want to know any fucking thing about him, who may be sitting there like, wait, you're in that lame 90s band? Fuck off. So he's just upending people's fucking lives. And then he says the thing of, Lily, I could have been a rock star, but I chose to be a dad. Being a dad is what I am. So don't take this from me. You have two fucking kids who are clearly troubled in other ways at home right now. So why don't you be a dad to them?
Yeah. I mean, I get that he's upset that she didn't tell him.
Yeah.
But it
was wrong. What Lily did was wrong. And later in the episode, the one moment of credit I will give to Rufus is when he's like, you've had 20 years to process this. I need time too. Sure, Rufus, that's acceptable. Yeah, you are allowed to be angry and you're allowed to take time to be angry. But you're talking about meddling in people's lives that you don't fucking know. And that's shitty.
I agree. Jenny and Eric are watching the Mean Girls bully Nellie at the yogurt shop. Despite Eric begging her to stay uninvolved, Jenny can't help but stick up for Nellie and ends up dragging her out of the shop.
I'm not Little J anymore. I feel like they still call her Little J like throughout the episode. I don't think she shed the Little J the way she wanted to.
Even though she is getting taller.
She is. She's taller than most of them, and I can't always tell if she's actually tall, right? It's not lifts.
She's not as tall as Blake Lively, but she's tall.
But she's taller than Penelope and Blair. Yeah.
Well, Blair's tiny.
Oh, is she? I guess I only see them in relationship to the show, so I don't really think of them outside of Wallace Shawn. I don't. Who?
Well, as you see, she's not that much taller than Wallace Shawn.
True. Yeah, you're right.
And like Ed Westwick's only about 5'9".
Okay, that makes sense.
She's probably like 5'6", I would say.
Yeah. The other, like, the Hazel clean my shoe thing, where first of all it skipped
that's coming up.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was that scene.
Nah, this is that's when they're doing the judgment part. When Blair's judging. This is the scene at the yogurt shop.
Yeah, at the end of the yogurt shop, she turns to Hazel and says, Hazel, clean my shoe. Because Nellie because Nellie was supposed to do it, and Jenny grabbed Nellie and left.
Yeah.
And she goes, Hazel, clean my shoe.
Chuck is lighting up a Jay at school. Blair tries to talk some sense into an apathetic Chuck to no avail. Headmistress Queller walks up and busts Chuck.
Blair fishing for an I love you is sad. It's so beneath you, Queen. It is so beneath you.
Yeah.
It feels thirsty, and she's not. Like, she doesn't come across as thirsty, but thirsty for that. And how could you even expect it the first time?
Mm. Rufus comes back to the loft to find Dan and Serena kissing. Rufus gets all pissy and kicks Serena out. Dan follows right behind her.
Yeah, like, what are you thinking? What?
Yeah, it's like, I would totally get why Dan is confused.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk in and dump all my shit on you because I'm mad at her mom. And, like, just fucking unloads all of his shit onto his kid and their relationship. And is just super shitty to this teenage girl who doesn't know fucking shit about what's going on. What
you remember from season 1, Rufus like told Dan to change his sheets, but he's like fine with them having sex in his house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was like implied essentially.
Yeah, he was all in favor of Dan and Serena until he was mad at Lily.
Yeah. Fucking Rufus.
Yeah, what is this, fucking Romeo and Juliet?
Blair, Jack, and Chuck meet with Headmistress Queller. There is definitely some kind of tension between Blair and Jack. Chuck promises not to do it again as he's pulling out another spliff.
I loved the casting of Jack. And yeah. Oh, so it was a spliff. Because he was like, oh, I was smoking hash. Because I got the impression it was a joint, but it'd be smoking like straight hash out of a joint. That would be that's not going to give.
I assume it's mixed with tobacco.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I never do that, so that's never my instinct. I don't touch tobacco. The occasional cigar is it, but I'm not inhaling it.
Pop quiz. What do you get when you cross Chuck Bass, $1 billion, and Bart cold in the ground? Free fall. At the loft, Rufus continues to act like a petulant child towards his child. Jenny finds out about Dan and Serena, and as always, she is their number one fan.
Yeah, she's smart. She's funny. She's 10 times hotter than she is. And Dan's like, she's right. And Rufus is just all about being a dad, no matter how bad he is at it.
Jenny is pleading Nellie's case to get out from under the mean girls. Blair sits in judgment. Blair is too distracted by her plans to join the Colony Club to care enough about high school drama, so she dismisses Nellie. However, it looks like the mean girls are prepared to act on their own.
Tone down the crazy, P. Just the nutty escalation that she was prepared to go to. Yeah, tone down the crazy.
Penelope makes me want to explore my subside. Dan and Serena decide they need to figure out what happened between Rufus and Lily.
I like this. I like that they're kind of now
on the case.
On the case, yeah.
Dan hightails it out of there when Blair shows up to discuss the Chuck situation with Serena. Blair fights back the tears before calling Dorota to let her know that Blair needs to make a stop before the Colony Club party.
Yeah. I don't really have much on that. Just sort of sets up stuff that's happening.
Good acting by Layton, as usual.
Yeah. Throughout this, there's so many. I actually kind of stopped writing that down every time because it's just sort of a given. There's a couple times that like there is one later in this episode that it was just a goddamn kind of moment.
And the mirror scene.
Yeah.
When the mean girls arrive for frozen yogurt, they find Jenny, Eric, and Nellie at their table, quote unquote. The tables all fill up and the mean girls have to leave with nowhere left to sit. In an ironic twist, Penelope calls her dad to complain about being bullied.
She's the worst. And
it's kind of genius, though, as Eric points out.
It is. And I can't stand her, but like, I've had that student in my class. Like, I've taught Penelope's. As a teacher, I've taught a lot of versions of these, never the rich versions of these kids. I've taught some rich kids, or at least relatively rich kids, to the rest of their classmates. And I've taught kids exactly like Penelope that will just try to stomp on somebody, and when they can't, they'll go and run and tell that they're the victim. 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Drives me nuts.
Blair finds Chuck at the recently repurchased Victrola. However, her efforts to pull him back fall on deaf ears. Bart's final words to his son continue to haunt Chuck.
Blair's composure here. This was one of those scenes. Blair just walked in to find the man she loves in between two women that he is tongue deep in both their throats. And she is visibly upset and visibly hurt, but composes herself and makes it about helping Chuck and not about her own feelings. Mm. And it's just more of that brilliant, latent acting. And then on top of that, you watch Chuck spiral and being a complete asshole, but you also really feel for him. There is that sympathy of where that is coming from.
Mm-hmm. Dan and Serena are back in the loft looking for evidence of what happened with Rufus and Lily. Serena gets an SOS from Blair and runs off to help. After Serena leaves, Dan finds the number for an adoption agency.
I thought the detective work was adorable. I loved finding the ring and being like, oh, he proposed and my mom said no. And it's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Another thing that I pulled away from this scene, we talk about Dan and Serena and will they make it? Obviously, they haven't fucked everybody yet. And my idea is that everyone fucks. But as far as them evolving their relationship, Dan here clearly is starting to accept that Serena will at times say, Blair needs me, gotta go, no more info, that's it, peace out. That used to bother him a lot more.
I think he figured that out from the first season. Because remember, the I Love You episode, he kind of figured that out.
Yes, yeah. I feel like there were times still in that second run of the relationship, I think he still struggled with Serena and Blair's relationship at times. And I think that this is showing I'm just saying that this is showing him evolving in the acceptance of the parameters of their relationship that I hadn't noticed before anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that's been since the first season.
Yeah,
that's the I Love You episode.
That's fair. This is the first time that I really saw him just, yeah, cool. Like just when they're in the middle of something. That it really occurred to me.
Like that specifically happened in the I Love You episode, and that's one of the reasons why he said he loved her. You have a friend that's crazy, but you'll take care of her no matter what. New year, the same old story. The darkest secrets are always the ones that hit closest to home. That's a response to finding it. There was an adoption agency.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And he finds out that it's the adoption agency.
Act 3 begins. Blair arrives home and rushes past Dorota to sit in front of her mirror, nearly breaking down, containing herself to a single tear.
B is the kind of boss that knows that I've got to cry this out. I've got to cry it out, and I've got to get myself together before these ladies show up to do this colony club. And she says to Dorota, I need 10 minutes. And the first thing she does is she sits down, she looks herself in the mirror, and she gives it all the time she has to give it right now to cry, and locks it down and gets to work. It is just so phenomenal in how she moves through that so quickly. And how when she locks it down, she's clearly not done. She's clearly not over it. She just knows she has to move on. But she is just that kind of boss.
We see a frustrated Jenny coming out of Queller's office who has reprimanded Jenny for bullying. However, Nellie reveals that she has a lot of secrets, which Jenny, of course, jumps all over.
Yeah.
This is where Eric points out that it's very genius of Penelope.
Yeah, yeah.
Dan confronts Rufus about what he was looking for in Boston, but Rufus begs for just one more day. Oh, I need one more day.
Yeah, you're going to keep pushing your kids away for a kid you never met. For a kid, once again, for a kid that may not want to have fucking anything to do with you. for a kid that's going to hear, wait, my biological father was actually a rock star, and then he finds out that you're not really a rock star, like you're just a disappointment.
Serena shows up at Blair's penthouse and learns about Chuck's spiral and insists that they help him. However, Blair's putting on a brave face and says it's not her problem anymore. Serena leaves with a disapproving look on her face.
I loved this scene. It is so classic Blair and Serena. It is so the inner workings of the non-judging breakfast club here, where it is, we all need to help them out. And Blair, I tried. I can't do this. I've got something else I need to worry about right now. I need to take care of me first. And it just, I really thought that they brought that dynamic together. That classic Serena Blair, even when there's tension, there's love. I really like the way that they did that scene.
Dan shows up at Vitrola and gets the truth from Chuck. Chuck mocks Dan with the fact that once Serena finds out, Serena is finished.
I liked that Chuck was like, we're even now. Like, you buried that story from my dad, so I'm going to give you this.
Yeah.
I also really love that if you're planning to inherit the family estate,
you're not the firstborn Humphrey.
You're not the firstborn Humphrey.
Spotted in Vitrola, Lonely Boy and Chuck Bass having a heart-to-heart. What or who do they have to talk about? Blair meets with the Colony Club, who proceeds to gossip about and belittle everyone Blair knows. They slut-shame Serena, mock Lily for marrying Bart Bass, and decree that it was a mercy that Bart was hit by that car. However, the final straw was insulting Chuck. This causes Blair to promptly get up, presumably to go to Vitrola.
These fucking awful women. This whole secret society, which is, 6 people? I guess that's like the selection committee. But just come in and just lay down gossip and just be like, oh, was that Serena Vanderwoodson?
She's shows a little bit much here.
Yeah.
Making the boo motion.
Yeah. And I would think that Cece would be in the circle with these people. So,
and Lily would be too.
Yeah, and Lily probably would be too. So
yeah,
how
weird.
Either that or this secret society isn't as influential as the people that she's already with.
Yeah. These are the Mormon secret society.
I also love Dorota's smirk at the end when she says,
gets up. Yeah.
Yeah, when she says, when Blair gets up and she's like, Dorota will get their coats or whatever, and Dorota just smiles at them.
Chuck is barely able to stay conscious when Eric shows up to make a last-ditch effort to reconnect with Chuck. However, Chuck, albeit nicer than he was at the funeral, grabs a bottle and bids Eric a very final sounding goodbye.
I liked that he acknowledged his relationship with Eric. It was, Eric needed to hear that. And so I'm very glad that Eric survived the holidays to hear that from Chuck. I also feel like someone should follow Chuck.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Eric didn't really pick up on that because he's usually so insightful.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's really bad writing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the writers not tapping into the characters. That, like, even if Eric didn't follow him, Eric should have then the next scene where Blair and Jack and Eric all get together, that should have been Eric seeking them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would have solved that huge hole in this. Yeah.
Eric exits the club and meets up with Jenny and Nellie to confront the Mean Girls. Jenny lays the smackdown, causing the Migros to humble themselves, but Jenny no longer wants Queen. In a reversal of fortune, Nellie ditches Jenny when she finds out there's nothing to gain by following her.
I loved this. As much as I hated this storyline, I loved the resolution. So what are we doing about the party? What? Well, you're queen now. You got it. No, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And all of the dumb shit that I didn't like about Nellie in this episode, it turned out that Nellie really was just playing 4D chess, and winning. only to
she didn't read Jenny's motives correctly.
Yeah.
Rufus goes to Lily to warn her that Serena will likely soon know about their love child. Lily is scared that Serena and Eric will hate her, but Rufus can't help but reassure her that it'll be okay and that even he doesn't hate her. He just needs more time.
Rufus can't resist being shitty. Fair point on needing more time. Well, I said that early in this episode. But whenever Rufus is mad, he takes every opportunity to be as shitty as possible. He takes every dig to make the other person feel as small and shitty as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Lily or his kids or anybody else that he argues with.
Very self-righteous, very sanctimonious.
Yeah, even when he's fucking wrong about it, like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's an element of...
Or anything to do with Jenny.
I feel like there's an element of the writing here that almost wants us to feel like Rufus has been wronged and is in the right to want to find this kid. I feel like they want us to feel that way, and I can't.
But they clearly have Lily point out why he's wrong.
That's true.
Yeah. It's very in character for Rufus to be self-righteous.
Yeah. I mean, always.
Dan finds Serena at Vitrola and ushers her out of the club, presumably to tell her about their shared half-sibling.
Yeah.
Little awkward at Thanksgivings.
Yeah. But you're not related. So, like, and this is like mystery sibling out there somewhere. Like,
you know he's going to show up eventually.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
And then what happens if Rufus and Lily do get together? And they're step siblings with a shared sibling.
They are. But even then, it's like, I see on paper why it's bad, but their coming together was 100% legit. And they were first. They beat Lily and Rufus to the second punch.
So, yeah.
I hope they can.
Blair shows up and finds Jack partying with high schoolers.
Is he partying with high schoolers?
Eric tells Blair what Chuck said to him, and Blair rushes for the stairs. Jack hands his drink to Eric and follows after her.
I didn't even put together the Jack partying with high schoolers at first.
Doesn't Blair say something about it?
But yeah, well, but and I mean, when I first saw him at the club, it didn't really occur to me. But then when she said it, it's like, yeah, why are you there? Like, what fucking weirdo creep?
Yeah.
We don't know how old he is. We just know that he's Bart's, I would assume, much younger brother, but still inappropriately older uncle.
I'm going to say at least 30s.
I would think 30s. That was my impression.
Like, I know we bragged on Aaron's age a lot, but I think the show intended him to be about 21 to 22.
I believe that you are correct. That the show wanted him to be older, but made a miscalculation in the writing to explain.
I think Cyrus just had another wife they didn't mention.
Which maybe, but then that also kind of detracts from the whole other love story, you know? And all that
but
aside.
she died. The woman in Vietnam died.
Right. No, I know. And all that aside, I do believe that you're right, that the intention for Eric was not, or for Aaron was not to be this 30-some-year-old person. Jack, I don't see how you avoid it.
Yeah, he's definitely at least 30.
Yeah.
Probably
like
close to
even
40.
if he's, I would assume Bart was mid-40s to maybe 50 at the most. I would kind of assume, I assume the parents are about my age, despite Rufus looking 10 years younger than me. But then again, people my age look 10 years younger
Well,
than me.
I think Lily and Rufus are younger than the other parents,
Yes, I think so too.
including Bart.
Yeah, but I would still put Bart at between 45 and 50. I wouldn't really put Bart too much older, over 50, because I wouldn't see him waiting that long to have kids. I would see him having the type of personality that wanted to have an empire and wanted to have...
But if his wife was having trouble having kids, possibly.
Yeah, that's true too. That's possible too.
Because we've heard she died in childbirth.
She may have died in childbirth, which is more likely she died in childbirth. Yes.
Chuck is doing a drunken tightrope walk on the edge of the roof and drops the bottle when he almost slips off. One thing about being on top of the world, it gives you a long, long way to fall. Back from commercial break, Blair arrives on the roof in time to literally talk Chuck off the ledge. Very emotional scene, and with no Vanessa in this episode, Jack is my number one most hated character right now.
Yeah.
Don't surprise someone on the edge of a building.
And I didn't put it together until the last scene. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that in a little bit, because I didn't catch that then. I didn't piece anything together there. But with Blair, this is also another one of those scenes where I loved how she just poured everything out there. I loved her acting. I loved I thought the writing was kind of lame. Like, some of the actual lines that she was giving seemed very worn, but I thought that her portrayal was just phenomenal.
And then we move into the epilogue. Dan is about to tell Serena the secret when he gets a call from Rufus. Rufus is once again retconning morality by telling his son the right thing to do is to lie to his girlfriend.
Yeah. Way too big of an ask.
Yeah.
This is way too big of an ask.
You could take, half an hour to talk to Serena before your trip.
Yeah, you don't have to leave right fucking now. You could plan this trip. You could go in 24 hours and have the exact same result. No rush. It has been 20 years. There's no rush. You can all sit down right now, have the talk, and then go.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking selfish. Wait 1 day. You told your kid 1 day. So here's your 1 day. Go tell him. But no, you're going to go off on this trip to try to fucking find this kid. How long are you going to have to make them wait now? Because what if you only find a lead that takes you somewhere else? You fucking asshole.
Blair is helping Jack put Chuck in a limo, who promises to keep an eye on Chuck. Jack also agrees to not tell Chuck about what happened with him and Blair on New Year's. Dun.
I'm enjoying the character of Jack. It was this scene where I started piecing together where Blair said she doesn't trust him. I put together, don't scare someone on the ledge. Is he trying to get Chuck to fall so that he inherits?
Presumably he would be the next in line.
Yeah, he would probably be the next in line for the Empire. Yep. And clearly he banged B.
Yep. Dan tells Serena that their parents are going away together. Serena says they will make it work. Dan doesn't look as sure.
Yeah, fuck Rufus. The whole rest of this episode is just fuck Rufus.
Rufus and Lily, bags in hand, get into a cab.
Fuck them. And fuck Lily too here. Usually I'm almost always on Team Lily. And Lily this is also out of character for her. It's not out of character for her to just jump up and leave, but since Serena has come back, right? Since the start of Gossip Girl, Lily has been making a better effort at trying to be a better parent to her kids. And I feel like this seems...
Not counting last episode where she was about to abandon Eric for the holidays.
True. Or the time that she was going to send Serena away for being sexually assaulted on a tape, on a thumb drive that she watched. I feel like she's, like I said, making an effort to be better, and I feel like this is also sort of a, what is she thinking running off before having this conversation with her kids?
So just to defend her a little bit, we don't really know exactly what Lily knows Serena knows, or what Dan knows. Rufus just said she's probably going to find out soon.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That's true.
She doesn't know that Dan's like having to keep the secret for her.
That's true. Yeah. Which, okay, so for just Rufus and Lily to just go away without Eric or Serena knowing there's a secret out there, that isn't a big deal. You're right. Rufus is the one, who's now keeping a secret from Lily.
Yeah,
that Dan knows.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole.
So the last 3 scenes have a Gossip Girl narration over it. And it goes, "Ah me, the year scarcely turned, and already secrets have begun. Where will it end this time? The new year isn't about what happened, it's about what's to come. But the past is always with us, just waiting to mess with the present. And when it does, I'll be watching. XO, XO, Gossip Girl." And that is the episode. What's next?
I feel like there's going to be another couple episodes of Chuck spiraling. Maybe not completely spiraling, but like Chuck resisting Blair's help. And it is going to also coincide with Jack really cozying up to Chuck. I see that happening and really trying to outplay Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Chuck's going to see it coming. I think Blair's going to be all over it. I think that Dan and Serena are going to really struggle. I really hope that we don't have episodes of Rufus and Lily looking for this kid, because that's really shitty for Dan. I'm hoping that that little bit of it gets resolved quick enough that Dan doesn't have to keep this secret, so we can figure out if they can work this out. You know, I want to skip that bullshit and get to, I want to see if Dan and Serena can work this out. I also think that this leads to Rufus and Lily working it out. I think that Rufus and Lily get together out of this. I don't see how that's really avoidable at this point.
And when will Chuck find out about Jack and Blair?
Oh, I think we've got a couple episodes. I think that there needs to definitely be. I'm gonna say at least 3 episodes. When I say that, this is episode 1, so 2 more episodes, and then I think they'll find out.
Yeah.
It could be 2 episodes from now if they wrap that up then, but I think that it's going to go on a little bit longer than that. I think they need to really play it up and drag out that something happened.
Okay, well, let's get into some segments.
Yes.
We jumped into the Wayback Machine to visit the Television Without Pity forums from back in 2009.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman.
Hello.
Good boy.
This week in fandom, nothing like a quasi-incest to get the fan base back on board for a ship. And yes, I'm serious about that.
Yeah, I mean,
people were pretty bored of Dan and Serena at this point, but this made it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, how many TV shows have an incest storyline twice in one season? So,
Uncle Jack is hot.
I mean, yeah.
Good looking guy.
Yeah.
Eric and Jenny are back together.
Yeah. I love that.
Most people are convinced Jack and Blair hooked up.
Yeah.
And then also poor Chuck, poor Blair, CB are epic.
Yeah. Yep. They'll find each other. I'm not worried about that. If there's no way we're going another 3.5 seasons without them banging.
Episode grades. You went first last time, so I'm up this week. So, yeah, the writing was not that, was okay, I guess. The acting by Leighton was especially good, as usual. And even though I hated Rufus, Matt Settle actually did a good job, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this episode a B.
Yeah, good actors can be terrible people. You know what I mean? Yeah, like terrible characters usually rely on really good acting.
Yeah.
I went kind of storyline by storyline with the chair storyline. I felt was it was well acted but poorly written. I felt like the Rufus and Lily storyline was probably the best written, despite Rufus being a complete asshole. I do think that was probably the most coherent. The little J storyline I thought was dumb. Like if that were the episode, it would be a D. The resolution I liked, the very end with the okay, well, what about the party? I liked that, but I hated all of the stuff leading up to it. And then the Dan and Serena stuff I just thought was more Dan and Serena stuff. So I overall gave this episode a B-. I felt like the little J storyline kind of hurt it the most. I found this episode to be more towards poorly written, like average written than anything else.
Yeah.
Acting, again, like the acting is what it always is. Spectacular from the people that you expect it from, and there from the people that you expect that from. And directing, I kind of tie a lot of acting and directing together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, B-.
Moving over to Stock Watch. Not a lot of ups for me this week. Only Jenny and Eric. Those are my only 2 ups.
Huh. I gave Jack an up. Whatever he's up to. He seems to be up to something, but he seems to be, as of right now, on the upper side of it. I forgot to give Eric and Jenny ups, and I want to give both of them an up as well. I also had Lily going up. I kind of felt, I don't know why I had Lily going up. That's a really
more
weird
downer than I was. We talked about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to scratch that one. And I'm going to just stick with Jack, Eric, and Jenny.
All right, for my downs, Rufus, obviously. Chuck for continue to spiral. Blair for just, she just didn't do well. Add the minions. Get it down.
Yeah, I actually originally was going to give Blair an up, but ended up giving her a neutral. I didn't really feel like Blair went down in this episode. Because I felt like she stood her ground against the secret society, but then lost out on the secret society.
Yeah, she lost the secret society.
Yeah.
Standing the ground was not what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She wanted to be in. So that was a loss for me. And then she didn't get an I love you again.
That's fair. I felt that she was treading water this whole episode. And I felt like that was enough to keep her from me losing stock in her. I pretty much everything else you said. Chuck dropped. Rufus fucking tanked. The minions tanked. And I not only had the minions, but I also specifically had Nellie, because Nellie flew too close to the sun and is only going to be down at the bottom of that again, only even worse.
Yeah.
She's going to be demoted minion. So I specifically gave Nellie a stock down, aside from the minions as a collective.
Fair enough.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
Best outfit. For me, I had Jack's suit from this meeting with Queller, the gray tick suit with the purple shirt, white collar, and a purple tie.
It was so slick. That was so fucking slick. I loved it. I'm giving mine to Blair's Colony Club dress. That sleek black dress with like the diamond collar was just super fucking cool. I really loved how she held that together.
All right, that is it for segments. What are you plugging?
First of all, we have not really had a chance to say this, but go Birds, 6-2. Sirianni sucks, but I can't stand him. I don't know your opinions on Sirianni, but take the fucking points, Nick. If you're listening.
My opinion is this is organizational. That's not even Nick. It's organizational. They've been doing this since 2017. They've been to 2 Super Bowls with it.
Yeah.
The way analytics works is to play it out over the long haul.
Yeah. I feel like
the one I really disagreed about was the 1 2-point conversion when Fred Warner got hurt on the touchdown, because now you had your third string tackle in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was fine with it. I also would have punted at the last field goal that he did attempt.
See, I would have there was one field goal. There was like the 4th and 6th. To me, I feel like from the 50-yard line to about the 35-yard line, when you're in enemy territory, that is the real strong go for it on 4th. That's where I'm not going to argue on it. When it's 4th and 4 and you're at the 44-yard line, Elliott could probably make the field goal, but you're probably but it's going to be a lot tougher. Like, I get it more in that neck of the woods. Once you're past the 30, it's just take the points. Like, when it's that sure of a thing, that's when it really gets me. So
you're too old school.
Yeah,
it's like the 3-pointers in the NBA. It's just you gotta score more.
Yeah,
you might miss some, but you're gonna score more in the long run.
Yeah, I just almost cost us a third game though. It's a third. If we would have lost, it would have been the third one that we lost. There's only
one so far, the Atlanta game.
Yeah,
and even that one was more on the fact that the defense let them go 90 yards in a minute and a half.
Yeah. Anyway, go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
And the other thing that I've been plugging is that I was watching Yellow Jackets finally. That show is fucking good. I just saw it's the first 2 seasons are out of it, and that's definitely worth the watch.
Well, if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow us on most social medias at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. That's on Threads, on Instagram, and on TikTok. You can also find us on Facebook by searching for Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. And if you go to our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com, you can find links to our Discord and also our subreddit.
And if you would like to get in touch with the podcast, please feel free to send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to read what you have to say on the air, if it's appropriate. And while you're at it, while you're listening right now, if you could just go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, follow, help boost our visibility so more people get to share in this. And aside from all of that, also go out there and tell a friend what you're listening to. And share the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod with people that you know love Gossip Girl and love middle-aged men talking about Gossip Girl.
And we will be back next week to talk more Gossip Girl. Season 2, Episode 15, Gone with the Will. The Max episode description reads, Art's will is read, and Dan learns his father's secret. I thought he learned his secret.
He already learned his father's secret.
But it had a similar description on Netflix as well.
That's so funny.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me, I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me